rust, right? And it's tiny.
Look what's in the pipe over there.
Let's face it, this hobby, it can sometimes be unforgiving. Tank crashes and equipment failures only make you a better hobbyist. Regardless, the show must go on. The Polo Reef team is no stranger to persevering when faced with difficult situations. Over the next week, the team gets back into their rhythm and focuses on those mundane tasks we all face in the hobby: maintenance.
Let's go downstairs, do the water change for 2,500 gallons.
The 2,500 gallon tank, it's been battling some pests, but from the looks of it, you can hardly tell. This magnificent reef has come a long way, and it's growing out nicely. Supermax is working with Yeltsin on finishing up the water changes on the 2,500 gallon tank and the quarantine tanks in the lab. They've also been tasked on changing some equipment on the beautiful 80 gallon tank.
So we just got our ICPs back, and this tank is reading a slightly high in copper and vanadium, so we're just going to check to see if it's that L2 pump or wherever else it's coming from.
As you might know, the Polo Reef team has been working hard to get to the bottom of the high metals readings in some of the tanks. This particular tank has some high copper and vanadium readings, and they think they might have found the culprit. They get to work breaking down the old pump to check for any signs of rust or other issues that may be spiking the ICP tests.
So we just finished cleaning out the pump. We didn't see any rust or anything inside it, so now we're just doing a water change, trying to bring down that copper and vanadium level a little bit.
Just as they finish up the water change on the 80 gallon tank, they start to hear a strange alert coming from one of the units responsible for keeping the larger computer cooled.
This is the cabinet cooler that chills the electronics in here. And if you look over here, you can see that there's some fan errors. So we're going to take it down and clean the fans and replace the ones that aren't working.
John, he helped build these computers, and he knows how they operate inside and out. He gets to work taking out the cooling fans and searching for the issue. Like any other piece of equipment, the first step is to give it a quick clean. Cooling fans from any electrical system require cleaning regularly. It is expected that large buildups of dust and dander can eventually make the fan stop working. John hopes that this will fix the issue and the system will be running back to normal in no time. Last episode at Polo Reef, the team spent weeks treating the 2,500 gallon tank for Monty-eating nudibranchs. Since there's been a lot of treatment in this tank and it received a water change this morning, the team wants to address one more beautifying chore: siphoning from the sandbed. The problem? Well, the 2,500 gallon tank, it's deep. So the team has to get creative to reach the sand. So they do what they do best: innovate. Using the rubber hose and a PVC pipe, they simply zip tie them together. And just like that, they're able to make a difficult task easy, and no one even needs to get wet. With some ingenuity, they get the sandbed looking immaculate. Sometimes it's the little things that make the reef stand out. Do you have any innovations you use at your tank at home? Leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. The busy day continues at Polo Reef, and John jumps right into his next task. The team has received a new wave pump, and this one runs a little differently. It even has Andrew pretty excited.
Orca swirl, baby.
This particular pump is pretty cool, and it has everyone, well, pumped. Instead of the head of the pump only rotating, it allows you to program how powerful it is at different angles. Like Andrew said, if there are more sensitive corals in one area, you can dial down the flow, so when it rotates and hits that angle, it'll be pushing less water, allowing you to protect lower flow coral. John wastes no time and gets to work installing it. He takes a moment to explain to Andrew how everything works.
From 83 degrees to 40 degrees, it's running at 20%. From 41 degrees to 5 degrees is 30.
I'm just looking at this guy.
So you're getting the end of it. You're not getting it when it's hitting it, because it's taking longer to get here than that's taking to move.
I see.
Because it's such a slow flow.
I see. Has to improve the flow, right?
Yeah, definitely.
With the pump installed, the team will continue to monitor how effective it is. For now, they're excited to see a simple pump progress even further. The next day, the team arrives, and Supermax heads right outside to the koi pond for some pretty exciting news.
Alright, so we're going to start getting the koi ready for the Nashville Koi Show. So today we're going to stop feeding the koi. That way they can get ready to be shipped. We don't want them to poop in the water too much once they're in the bags, so we stop feeding them a few days beforehand. Once the few that get taken to go, we'll slowly start building their food back up.
With the National Koi Show in Tennessee right around the corner, the team begins prepping these champions for competition. Like any elite athlete, it takes a team to get the champions to win. Back inside, the team received the latest ICP test, 3 weeks after the 17,000 gallon tank crash, and it's showing high levels of zinc. So today, they're working on looking at all possible sources. John and Joe suspect it might be one of the pumps for the 17,000 gallon tank. They quickly disassemble it and think they might have found something, so they bring it to Andrew's attention.
What?
I don't think this is it.
You don't.
But this is stainless steel, and there's no zinc.
It's rust, right?
Well, it's rust, but there's no
And it's tiny.
I see the
Inside is more.
Yeah.
little ring of it, but
But it doesn't even come off. So it wasn't the pump.
no.
Why don't you swap it and put it back?
And I'll order one of these for the spare pump.
Okay.
right.
John and Joe head back downstairs to install the replacement pump. As they're installing the pump, Joe notices that there's a small leak coming from the UV sterilizer on the 900 gallon tank. This team, they're super thorough, so they grab the UV sterilizer, bring it into the lab, and take it apart. And immediately, they notice something. It looks like there's a small crack in the piping. This should be an easy fix, so they prepare some resin for the pipe and let it sit for a couple hours. As the resin dries, Joe can't sit still and wants to inspect the rest of the line before and after the UV sterilizer. The team has noticed that the flow rate, it hasn't been as good as it should be. They believe that the pump is simply not powerful enough to push water through the UV and back to the 900 gallon tank. He heads down to the sub-basement to take a look at the pump, and let's just say, it turns out, this pump is plenty powerful. After his Polo Reef shower, he determines that the underpowered pump, it's not the problem. So he begins to inspect the pipes before and after the UV sterilizer. But this time, he finds something. It's a little concerning.
Look what's in the pipe over there. Which pipe? What's going on?
Joe discovers some debris in the line before the UV sterilizer. The problem is that the piping at Polo Reef, it's so long, so they'll need to contact a plumber to use a commercial grade snake to take a look. The plumber arrives and begins to snake the line. It turns out there was a piece of wood clogged in the pipe, and he was successfully able to remove it. How did it get there? Well, the team, they might never know. Earlier in the week, the cooling fan for the main computer was malfunctioning. So John, Yeltsin, and Dunn gave it a nice bath and reinstalled it. John is always thinking ahead, so he ordered 2 more, as he knows the other fan might be on its last leg. He quickly installs the new cooling fans and wipes his hand clean of the fan issue. It's just another problem solved by the Dream Team. After installing the fan, the resin for the UV sterilizer repair is dry. John and Joe, they head back downstairs to the sub-basement to reinstall it. As they're reinstalling the UV sterilizer, they find more clues to the possible metal readings in the system. Here's John to explain.
So while we were working on the UV filter, at the corner of my eye, we caught a leak, and it happened to be coming from the dehumidification system. It was all frozen up, and instead of the water draining out, part of it was leaking into the sump, which could be the source of our zinc if this has been happening for a while, because all the evaporator fins are coated in a non-rusting material, which could be zinc.
With such a robust system, it's important to keep your head on a swivel for possible issues. With the UV successfully installed, Yeltsin is working on finishing his day up by doing some maintenance on the sulfur reactor. It seems that there's a little bit of a bacteria bloom in the reactor chamber, but it's nothing a quick drain and rinse can't fix.
Today, Yeltsin serviced the sulfur reactor. He siphoned some of the media out of the sulfur side and the bacterial bloom that was building up in there, as well as he blew out the aragonite side, which raises the pH back up to normal after the sulfur.
As Yeltsin finishes cleaning up the sulfur reactor, the team decides it was a busy day. They're tired and wet, ready to call it a night. It's the next day, and the maintenance continues. John and Joe first check in on the UV sterilizer, and it seems it's not leaking anymore. So today, they tackle some more maintenance. Some of the sensors on the 900 gallon and anemone tank sumps are throwing erratic readings, so they decide it's time to swap them out.
On the 900 gallon and anemone tank sump, we changed the level sensor, which uses radar to bounce off the surface of the water. It was giving some erratic readings, so we swapped that out, and that's working well now. We also installed one for the 2500, which previously wasn't there.
The next task is going to be the last one for this busy Polo Reef maintenance week, but it's going to take the entire team and a lot of time to get done. This last task, it's a doozy. It's time to swap out the resin in the RODI system. In smaller systems at home, this task is not that difficult, but in a massive system like the ones at Polo Reef, it requires 3 people and a lot of muscle.
So today we changed the DI resin on the 8,000 gallon a day RO. We changed the cat eye on the anion and mixed bed. Each canister holds about 3 5-gallon buckets worth of resin.
But just as the team is finishing up their routine maintenance, they hear an alarm that sounds familiar.
While we were changing the DI resin, James noticed that the new cabinet cooler was alarming. It appears that there's 2 fan issues on that. We'll just leave the cabinet open for tonight so that it vents out the heat, and we'll address that in the morning.
After everything this system and team has been through, it's not about the big moments anymore. It's about the routine, the discipline, the willingness to keep going, even when the work isn't exciting and the wins aren't obvious. Water changes, equipment fixes, chasing problems you can't see. This is the kind of work that doesn't get attention, but it makes everything else possible. Because resilience, it's not built in a day. It's built in weeks just like this. And at Polo Reef, those are the weeks that matter most. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay updated on everything Polo Reef. Until next time.